Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Benjamin, and welcome to another Let's Pixel video. In this video, we're going to be creating a grass background for an RPG, so kind of a top view of a grass background. And this video is actually a little bit of a preview for my new tile set pixel art course, which is going to be coming out on July 13th of this year, which is 2018, just in case you're watching this video in the future. And that's tomorrow. So I've got a new course coming out tomorrow, and I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff that will be in the course, kind of redoing it in this video. So this is kind of maybe a slightly different approach to the same techniques that are in the course, and so maybe a slightly different style with the backgrounds. So yeah, there will be a link in the description that goes to that course eventually. Obviously, I'm not releasing the course until tomorrow, so it won't be in the description until tomorrow. But yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to use Pixel Edit for this. You could use any pixel art editor. However, I feel that Pixel Edit is the best one when it comes to tile sets, and I highly recommend it. But yeah, you can use any other pixel art editor. I've had students use Sprite for my tile set stuff, and it works just fine, or other editors as well. So we're going to create a new document, and I'm going to make this let's do 4 by 4. That's how many tiles wide it's going to be. And then our tile width and height is going to be 16 by 16. And that is because I highly recommend, especially if you're just learning, if this is new to you, you should always do smaller tile sets. The smaller the better when you're just learning, because it takes less time, so you can iterate faster. You can draw one. If it sucks, you can draw another one really quickly and try again and practice over and over again. So let's do that. We'll create it, and you can see we've got our tile set. However, when I draw on this, it doesn't tile anything yet. So inside of Pixel Edit, what we need to do is select our tile over here. This is the only tile that we currently have, and draw this tile across here. And then if I hit the D key to draw again, now you can see when I draw, it immediately tiles into the next one. And this just helps you to create seamless tiles that tile seamlessly with each other. And it's very, very useful. Now that we've done that, we need to create our colors. So we can get rid of a bunch of these colors in our palette here. I wonder if I can select multiple of these. So we'll remove this one. Oh, I can use the little trash can up there. It doesn't seem I can select multiple of them yet. We'll leave this blue one, but we don't need any of the others. And the blue one's kind of dark, so I'm going to double click on it, and we're going to lighten this up just a little bit. And I might change the hue just a tad to go a little bit more green. Okay. And this will be our base color for the grass. So the ground, basically when it's unlit. Well, this might end up being the shadow actually. So then I'm going to duplicate this. And then we've got a nice little shading thing here. But what we'll do is we'll choose a lighter value like this. And then we'll hue shift even more. That hue shifts a little bit, but we want to shift more into green. There we go. And maybe go even a little bit lighter. There we go. And then we'll duplicate this again. And I think we'll do 4 colors to keep things pretty simple. And so we'll come into our, we might add some saturation too. So we'll add a little bit of saturation, add a little bit of lightness, and then hue shift a little bit more towards yellow. Basically, as we get brighter and brighter, we're getting warmer and warmer, because I'm going to actually add a little bit more saturation to this color right there. And lighten this one just a little bit so we've got a nice transition here. Then we'll do one more, duplicate, and this one we're going to go much brighter. We'll make it even more saturated, make it even more yellow, make it much brighter like this. And we've got a nice hue shift from kind of a bluish green to a greenish yellow. And that creates really nice looking colors. Now we're going to use this color right here, this green, as our unlit ground. This is going to be the color for when the ground is completely unlit. We'll use this color right here for our base grass, and then this color, kind of our unlit grass, and then this brighter color for the lit grass. So let's start. Let's start by creating some blades of grass like this. Like this. Something kind of like this. And based on the perspective, we don't want this to come down too far. Kind of want this blade of grass to do that. I'm going to grab this and do Control X, Control V, and slide it down just a bit. Like that. That way we can press draw to draw again. That way I can make this branch come up a little bit more. And we're going to want to clean this up a little bit so it's nice and has nice sharp edges. There we go. That's a good edge. Some of this will look better when we add lighting. Then we can add one little leaf coming up right here. And another one kind of right here. I think because of the perspective, I don't want any leaves kind of coming down like these ones are. So I'm going to change that. We'll just have them all kind of coming up. And can have one coming up right here. Like this. And maybe one coming from this right here, out this direction a little bit. And this one's already good, but let's keep it up a little bit higher. Like that. Now we need to have a light direction. So we're going to have, so these are our base values without lighting, right? We've used the middle color right here for the base ground, these for the base blades without lighting. Now we're going to add our lighting to these. And they might change a little bit as we go along. I actually don't really feel like that one looks good right there. I might take it and go this direction a bit with it. Like that. And I might shrink this one just a little bit. Well, I don't know. That one's hard to shrink. It does feel like it needs to be a little bit bigger like that. Okay, anyways. Once we start to get the grass in like this, we need to add our lighting. So let's make this actually quite, I want to saturate this more. There we go. Didn't realize it was quite so dim. Okay, now it looks better. And let's have our lighting coming from this direction, like that. So it's going to hit very, very well on this leaf right here, like this. Probably pretty good on this leaf as well. Like that. And it'll kind of get the top of this leaf maybe a little bit, but not lower. Like that. Same with this leaf, but we probably just won't even have it hit that one. And then it'll hit this one nice and bright. Like that. And also this one. Okay, now we need to add in our shadows. So if the light is hitting these leaves, where are the dark areas? So we're going to have a dark area right here. Dark area right here where it's hitting this leaf. Kind of come over and across that way. This leaf as well will have a really dark area where the shadow's going. And this one. This leaf will have a little bit coming over here. Some of these might have some under it. Like this. Like that. Now you've got a pretty good sense of some of these shadows. There might be a few other places where there's just shadow a little bit more randomly, because the ground has dips and stuff in it. Like that. And we've got a little too much of the bright color, I think, but let me show you a trick. And I think our darker blue color could be changed here. let's up the green value of it and up the lightness of it a little bit in the saturation. And then you can turn off contiguous up here to get it all at once like that. Because we don't want a super high contrast in our grass, in the leaves of our grass. There we go. We don't want all of these petals to be so well lit. Only a few of them. It'll make the ones that are lit stand out a little bit better. So like I'm going to light this one instead of this bigger one. Because of position. Well, no. That position's not as good. I want it to maybe this one. Yeah, I want it to work well with these. And this really is the best one to do down here. So that's pretty good. Then what you can do once you get to this point is you can add variation to this. Maybe we need both of those. Something like this. Just a little bit on that one. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Nice and balanced. Then what you can do is once you get to this point, you can add variation to it. And this is something that I talk about in the course. So we can take this tile right here and duplicate it. And then we can place it up here at the top and we can change this one. So we can get it like here and maybe just remove the bright values in a few of these leaves. Make this one smaller. Bring this one down a tad too. Remove some shadows in a few places. Add some in a few other different places. Could bring that over even more. So you make a small variation. And then you can use this variation don't want that to be like that anyways. Then you can use this variation in different places. This one here and here. And even just a little bit of a variation can help create a background that doesn't quite loop as much. And it's better, I think, to vary it more than I am currently. So like this. And as you add more and more variation to it, you start to get some interesting looks in your background like this. So it just loops a little bit better. And let's do a third variation. One that has hardly any grass. We'll duplicate this. We'll do a third variation that really cuts down on how much grass is in it. Now you don't want to change the edges a lot, because if you change the edges, that actually changes how it loops. So you have to kind of be careful around the edges a little bit when you're adding in the variation. And there's our third variation. You can drop this in a couple places. It's really hard to cut back on the amount of leaves. Because it makes it feel kind of too empty. But that's not too bad. Could probably hint at more leaves this way, more grass. And as always, I would generally prefer to have a whole bunch of time to just polish this. But you never can. Really though, just having a couple different variations can really help with this. This one, this variation is the weakest in my opinion. I think this is the strongest look. Could make this one a mid-tone color here. Like this. But it looks best that way, I think. This one's already almost one, so maybe we just make it the base color like that. That looks pretty good, actually. And we're getting closer. I mean, it's tricky to try and create this kind of a thing and make it loop really well, but having a couple different variations I think can really help. And even just placing our third variation in a couple places makes it look pretty nice. This one's our third variation, right? I think so. There we go. But you can see pretty well here how beneficial it can be to add a few different variations to this. And then what you do is you export this into your game and you use this entire sheet right here as your background and just have it loop, and it can look really nice. So having a base kind of grass tile and then creating a few different variations of it, which is a little tricky, a little fiddly, you have to fiddle around with it a little bit. But if you do that, you can create a very nice looking grass background that can loop fairly easily and look really good. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful and enjoyed it. If you did, be sure and like it and keep a lookout for my tile set course that is coming out tomorrow. And I will talk to you guys later.